Hey everybody. So it has been a good while since, and we froze. There we go. So it has been a good while since I've been able to get on here and do a live, mainly because the trials in Galveston County have opened back up, and we'll talk a little bit about that uh, on this little live that I'm going to try to do to update y'all. Uh, I have not been able, mostly I've missed lives because of jury trials that I've been in. Uh, and then if I wasn't in trial, I was trying to play catch up at the office from being in trial the previous week. The last two trials I've had were an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and an intoxication manslaughter. And the courts, for some reason, here are in a hurry, an extreme hurry, and it just doesn't make sense. It's as if, we all know that hopefully we're beyond COVID. There's not been much spread here in Galveston County, and I think hopefully we've gotten past that. But now the courts are acting like, since we weren't able to function properly because of COVID, we need to now do as much as we can do, as fast as we can do, as if it's, somehow our fault that COVID had us shut down. So there's not much movement in or given any consideration to whether or not we were in trial the week before. Thomas and I were in trial on the intoxication manslaughter. It went on into Friday, and then that Friday we were getting emails from another court asking us, telling us we were number one for that Monday the next week, which back in the day, courts would give deference to people who had just been in trial, and usually, sort of as a professional courtesy, give you a break and let you bump to the next trial period. And apparently that's all over because we're just in a rush to get cases tried. Doesn't matter if people are on bond or in jail. We're in a hurry here in Galveston County. Other developments of recent or since my last live is there has been a very large impact on the DA's office here by way of resignations of assistant district attorneys. And we're not talking about insignificant resignations. We're talking about a large group of the most experienced prosecutors that worked for that office have now left. I think the number I heard recently of departures within the last couple of months was 10. They've lost approximately 10 assistant district attorneys. And again, this was a major blow to their office because we're talking about some senior attorneys that had been there 18 years and had a wealth of experience in the office, and they've now left and either gone to other counties, come to the defense bar or whatever. But that has created a vacancy, or a lot of vacancies, within the district attorney's office, which what translates to us is more delay. And then when you still have courts that are short prosecutors, it increases the burden on the prosecutors that are in that court, which of course means they can't do as much anymore because they're working on twice the caseload. And so it's hard, it makes it harder for us as defense attorneys to get things done as well, because it's hard to get the work that we would normally get or the attention of the assistant that we would need to sit down and discuss a case because they have so much going on. In addition to that, with the courts in a hurry to be in trial and a hurry to try cases, the DAs are worried about their next trial case and don't have time to sit down and discuss or look at this important issue that I have for them that I want them to look at on my case. And, you know, it makes it difficult for us because it translates to client frustration, wanting to know why things are taking so long. As you know, generally I try to get on here at about 3:30. I was a couple minutes late today because I was on the phone with a client who was frustrated at the pace of his case and what he perceives to be the inaction of the state in moving forward with some of the issues that we've, you know, identified and tried to discuss. And as I explained to him, I have no way to control another person's workload. So I can't simply stomp my feet and insist that an ADA look at my client's case right now today because that's what he wants. It just doesn't work like that. And again, with the shortages within the office, it's tough. Then the other thing is, you know, they've promoted and or hired younger attorneys, and obviously there's nothing wrong with young attorneys. I was a young attorney. The problem is that the more experience that you have, the better you are at assessing a case or determining the value of a case so that you can properly negotiate a plea. One of the cases I tried several weeks ago was an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, which is a serious offense. We tried the case. Ultimately, the jury found my client not guilty. But the interesting thing about that case was that my client had been in custody the entire time. And when we finally got to trial, I found out that it was that prosecutor's first trial. And that, to me, is dangerous. We should not have prosecutors who have never tried a case handling and assessing serious felonies on their own. It's a dangerous position to be in because, again, you know, we're talking about years of a person's life that they could be incarcerated, perhaps due to the inexperience of a prosecutor who may not be properly evaluating a case. So we're trying to navigate all these types of things right now while the DA's office goes through what they've called a transition year or a rebuilding year, or I don't know. Like I said, they had a lot of key people leave, and now they're, I guess, trying to figure out how to retool and make it better or whatever their perception is. I'm not sure. They have hired at least one experienced prosecutor that I'm aware of from another county to come in and be a chief. There was another misdemeanor prosecutor who came from another county who did have experience, but then in misdemeanor, they hired 3 people that were called pre-commits, which means they hadn't got their bar results back. But apparently the last bar results came out on Friday, and all 3 of those pre-commits passed the bar exam, and so they've now been hired on, or now will transition into assistant district attorneys in the misdemeanor division. I don't know what the plan is across the street to fill the missing felony prosecutor positions. I'm confident they're working on it, but I don't know. You know, time will tell. But we were in a court this morning where there are only 2 prosecutors, when typically there are 3. And so, like I said, that increases the 2 that are there. It increases the caseload because normally there would be a 3rd person. And so it's harder to get things done. And that's not anything to do with the prosecutors in that court. It's just the facts. If normally it's a 3-person caseload and now it's knocked down to 2, obviously that means more work for the 2 that are left. And the more work that you have, obviously the harder it is to get things done. And so you have to prioritize what you're going to work on. And with jury trials coming again on Monday, that means those 2 have to also prep for the trial that's coming up Monday. And there's not another person left remaining to work on the cases. So it just makes the entire system slow down. And so that's kind of what we're dealing with right now. And I guess until either the trial load evens out back to pre-COVID numbers and the judges start to calm down on, we have to try everything as fast as we can and as many as we can, then it's just going to be that way for a while, and compound that with absences in the DA's office. And I don't know what an easy solution is. I know that other counties have hired, or not hired, but bring in visiting judges specifically to try cases so they can try to get rid of their backlog of trial cases due to COVID. And since I don't practice in other counties, I don't know how well that's working. But this backlog that we're dealing with now is just, I don't see how it's going to be easy to get rid of anytime soon. I know in my office I had to print out the rest of the year's trial schedule, and it's interesting because there are weeks now where 5 felony courts all have criminal jury trials the same week. And of course, in my office, we'll have multiple courts and trial cases in each court. And obviously, I can't try more than one case at a time. So it's going to be interesting to see. There's going to have to be some coordination between the courts of which court gets me and which court has to wait, because there's just no other way to do it. But anyway, like I said, it's been a while, mainly because of the trial schedule that's opening back up. I'm going to try to come back more frequently and keep doing these videos. I know some of y'all like to watch them. And I do want to give a shout out to Galveston County pretrial. After I did that video on bonds and the bond situation going on pretrial, the Galveston County pretrial office had seen that video and called me and asked me to come to their meeting so I could learn more about everything that Galveston pretrial is doing to try and keep their system going and improve upon it. And they're actually doing a really good job. I learned a lot from them about what pretrial is doing, the improvements that pretrial has made over the years in getting lesser and nonviolent offenders out quickly and for less money or no money, so that it's not a burden to them. That was a good meeting. I'm glad y'all invited me. And again, I should be back. I don't think we have a trial case next week, so I should be back. I'm pretty sure I have a trial case the week after that. So when I'm not in trial, I'll do these videos. When I'm in trial, we'll figure something else out. But I hope everyone had a good Easter and you have a good rest of your week, and I'll see y'all soon.